all kinds of neat ideas that he shares. He's very generous with sharing his ideas. Lots of stuff that's wonderful for kids to do, and things you can make, and all kinds of different ideas. So let me tell my connection to Martin Gardner. I never knew Martin Gardner personally. I'm a mathematician, but the first thing I ever read by Martin Gardner was Fads and Fallacies and Science, Good, Bad, and Bogus, and I read the Skeptical Inquirer when I was a teenager because my father had a subscription to that, and he was a psychologist, and we talked about that stuff a lot when we were kids. So I have to say I came to Martin not through mathematics, but through the skeptics angle. Okay, what I'm going to do is show you a bunch of sculptures by George Hart, and then I'm going to explain to you the secret behind the sculptures that you can, first off, you could make one yourself, and also you can appreciate them more. So this is one that I saw, this is in Tom Rogers' garden in Atlanta, where you go at the third day of the Gathering for Gardner. There's a party at Tom Rogers' house, and he has a sculpture garden, and people have contributed sculptures there. This was the one that George built in 2008 at that would be the eighth gathering, and he had people help him build it. That's one of the things he kind of does, is has people help him build sculptures. This is the one he built this year, called Wormhole. So those are the two sculptures you saw him standing by, or sitting by, in that first picture. Okay, so here's some more of his sculptures. This is made out of wood. He uses lots of different mediums, and they're all geometrically based. Okay, that's called Whoville. It's made out of aluminum. That's called Salamanders, made out of wood. That hangs in the computer science building at MIT. He made this with when he was the artist in residence at MIT a few years ago, and he had the students help him put that together. Okay, here's a little paper sculpture. If you go to his website, you'll see that he has templates for a lot of these sculptures, and you can print them out and Xerox them and cut them out and make your own little versions. And that's what I did to make this. This was a commission by a dentist. It hangs in a dental office. You can see. Okay, doesn't we see it's made out of toothbrushes, and it says just 2 cavities because there's an inner one and an outer one. Okay. Spaghetti code, it has something to do with computer science. This is hangs in the Science Center at Albion College. It took many years for them to develop this idea and to actually make it happen. And these get more and more complex as it kind of shoots in this pattern. Okay, this was George's entry for the Joint Mathematics Meeting art show. There's a mathematical art show every year at the Joint Mathematics Meetings. This was his entry for 2010, just this year. Okay, well, all these sculptures are based on polyhedra, and I consider myself kind of a polyhedonist. I love polyhedra. And so they're very simple ones. These are the 5 regular solids, and in particular here, this is the dodecahedron, has 12 sides. And so what I'm going to do is explain to you, I love George's sculpture, and I wanted to figure it out and understand it. And I tried to make, what I did was I made the very simplest George Hart type sculpture I could think of so that I could share the idea with people. And I actually have kits for making this thing. So this is the salamanders. I made that just from printing stuff off his website. The main idea is he takes some sort of polyhedra, and he uses the concept of stellation. So I don't know how many people are familiar with stellation, but this is what's called the first stellation of the dodecahedron. So is there a kid who could explain to me what's the relationship between this and this? How do you get from here to here? Does anybody see? What's how?
You add a prism to each side.
You add a prism to each side, exactly. You add a prism, a pentagonal-based prism. But that's actually not that's not very precise, because you need to know how high that prism is. And so the precise way that mathematicians define stellation is you start with your polyhedra, and you extend each of the faces until they intersect and they enclose what's called a cell. So if you do that with, say, these 5 here, it'll intersect and it'll enclose this prism, right? Okay.